You don't have too many interests. You just leave the moment they stop changing how you see yourself. Right when the work becomes normal, you disappear. Not because it's hard, but because it stops making you feel ahead. This video will show you the exact moment you keep walking away and what's actually driving it. You open the app you were excited about last week. You finish one lesson, then sit there for a few seconds too long. Your thumb hovers over the screen, then you close it. Nothing is wrong, but something inside you already checked out. That drop you just felt is not random. It follows the same pattern every single time you start something new. Stay with this for a minute. Don't jump to the next thing just yet, because you don't quit at the beginning. You quit right after it stops feeling like progress. You don't quit at the start. You quit right after it stops feeling like progress. Think back to last week. You opened that app and you were actually excited. But now? You finish one lesson, then stare at the next screen longer than you need to. Before you even make a choice, your hand moves to close it. It's not a decision, it's a reflex. See, in the beginning, everything is new. Your brain is getting loud signals that you're changing fast. But when that signal fades, your brain stops seeing movement. And here's the cost. You never build any real depth. Everything stops right before it actually starts to become valuable. This felt different before you pause. You didn't run out of time. You ran out of signal. And that signal? It was never about the skill itself. You thought you loved the craft. But the truth is, you just loved who you were becoming in that first week. Think about when you tell someone you're learning guitar or coding or a new language. They react. And suddenly, you feel slightly ahead of your old self. That's the trap. Your brain rewards you with dopamine because it senses a rapid identity shift. It's not about the skill. It's about the fact that you're leaving your old self behind. But here's the cost. You've attached your motivation to the novelty of the new you, not the actual process. And when that novelty fades, you lose your reason to keep going. I felt like a different person when I started. That's the hook. You were never just learning a skill. You were testing a new identity. And that identity has a very short lifespan. The drop doesn't happen when it gets hard. It happens when it gets normal. By now, you already understand the basics. You can play some simple chords, write basic functions, or follow a standard conversation. But suddenly, nothing about it feels impressive anymore. The rate of self-update is slowing down. Your brain is no longer getting that hit of, I'm becoming someone special. And here is the fatal mistake. You walk away exactly when the skill requires the most repetition. You quit right before you enter the phase where you actually start to stand out. This isn't as exciting as I thought. This is the dip. You didn't lose interest. You lost the illusion of being ahead. And this is where most people start to lie to themselves. You don't just avoid effort. You avoid the moment your future self stops looking impressive. You hover over that unfinished project. You think about continuing, but then you imagine how slow and painful the progress will feel. So you close the tab and tell yourself, I'll come back to this when I'm in the right headspace. See, when progress slows down, the image of the talented you starts to crack. Your brain chooses to walk away just to keep that unproven potential intact. The cost? You accumulate a dozen brilliant starts, but zero real results. You keep the hope, but you lose the competence. Maybe this just isn't my thing. Or maybe I'm just not good enough. Be honest. You didn't quit the skill. You quit the version of you that might fail at it. So the real problem here was never about discipline. What if nothing is wrong with your interests? What if the only problem is that you just keep leaving too early? You will reach a moment where the work feels slow, monotonous, and repetitive. No one notices you, and you don't feel special or different while doing it anymore. At this point, your brain has stopped giving you dopamine for that identity shift. All that's left is pure effort and boring repetition. If you leave now, you're just repeating the same old cycle one more time. But if you stay, You start building the kind of depth you've never even touched before. This doesn't feel like progress. Stay. Mastery starts the moment you stop feeling like you're becoming someone new. That's the part you've been skipping every single time. You were never inconsistent. You just kept leaving the moment the work stopped feeding your sense of who you could become. This is for the ones who always start strong, then quietly disappear the second things turn ordinary. You don't lack discipline. You just leave before reality replaces the version of you in your head. Think about the last thing you dropped. Not why you started, but the exact moment you checked out. What changed right there? Tell me in the comments. If you want to understand how your patterns actually work, stay here. The next time it feels flat, that's not the end. That's the first time it's real.